Olivia.
Hello.
How are you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. We'll let everyone come in. Hey, Laurel.
Hi, Laurel.
Hello. Also, I'm girl crushing on Olivia's white nails or light pink.
They're white and they're press-on nails.
Okay,
This
so you
is
gotta
the
send me
thing
that
that I
link.
started in COVID. Glue-on, press-on nails all the way.
Okay, I need a link to where I buy these because I'm sick of this.
I'm gonna send you a link
Can't
right
see
now.
it, but they're very chipped. I haven't had a manicure in over a year.
Oh, yeah, same.
I used to do
These do the trick.
I know, you look great.
I used to feel so naked without nail polish. In high school, I did it like all the time. And then when I started a catering job and they didn't let you wear nail polish, I just kind of like stopped. So, but I've been thinking about it lately, but I just haven't put my mind to it yet.
Why couldn't you wear nail polish at a catering job? Was it just too distracting or?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think some people really cared, but I guess I was just really busy to care that much too. Yeah.
I wasn't allowed when I was a server or worked at Cold Stone either. And I think it's for food safety. Because it could like chip into the, I don't even want to think about that. I like really hope no one paints their nails at restaurants I work at.
Cold Stone now. Okay, you need to buy these nails and I need to go to Cold Stone.
All right, I'm into it. I haven't been to Cold Stone like since I worked there, which is
That's
like
tragic.
a beautiful place, but I also feel like I have to sell my kidney to like get ice cream from there because it's more expensive than most places.
Oh yeah,
So fair.
it's overpriced.
But it's like kind of worth it at the same time. I'm like, I have to debate. I'm like, do I?
It's a treat.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's
true.
like an I crushed it at this meeting.
Yeah,
And
I'm gonna get myself some ice cream. But you must have had to like some muscle workout, like some arm workout from working there.
Do you have to sing too when you got
Oh
tipped?
yeah, I had to
What?
sing.
Hello. You have to sing?
Oh yeah, when you got tipped at Cold Stone, you had to sing.
Girl, no. Hi, Echo.
Hi, you guys.
Hello.
Selena,
Nice to meet you.
Nice
how
to
are you
meet
guys doing? Thanks for sharing your stories. I had to like bounce for a second. I'm here hanging out with my parents, so it's like they call me for like happy
Yeah.
hour. It's like I'm in a networking event.
They're like, oh, okay.
I want my parents to call me for happy hour.
Yeah,
That sounds awesome.
true. It's always boring stuff like sweep the floor or something.
You were at our last event, right?
Yeah,
So
I'm
glad.
so glad I
to
made
meet you.
it. Yeah, it was nice to meet Judith. I've been in touch with her, so she's super cool. And I remember you, Laurel, too.
I know. I remember you. We're friends on LinkedIn.
Yeah.
We are networked, and I see your posts about Headspace all the time, and it gets me excited.
Oh, thanks. Yeah, I'm kind of an headspace nerd.
I love
As
it.
you should be. It's such a good program. Also, hi, Shelby. What's up, girl? Hi. So, yeah, fun fact, Shelby and I went to the same high school.
Yeah, kind of way back.
Hello, nice to see you again.
You too.
Sorry,
Yeah.
everyone. I'm Martin.
Hi, Martin.
Hi, Martin. Hi, Brianna. Brianna.
Oh, it's Brianna.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure I was correct.
Where is everybody?
I'm from San Jose.
Okay. Selena lives in San Jose, and I grew up in San Jose.
Yes,
I
sir.
grew up in Fremont,
Cool.
it's just 2 cities over,
Yes.
but I'm in SF right now.
Nice.
I'm in Los Altos right now,
Okay.
but
Santa Barbara for me.
Oh, you're in Santa
I
Barbara.
go to
Cool.
Santa Barbara.
Nice.
Yeah, just got SB.
Brianna, did you know Nancy?
Yeah, we went to high school together, and she's my best friend.
Yeah, I think I saw her say
Aw.
that. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Did you say you were in London?
Yeah, I was. I just came back out here for a few months to take care of some family stuff, but I'll be going back next month.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
What's the story there? There's a story there.
My mom, she's Jamaican, and so that's just one of the routes that we take, London, to New York, to Canada, to wherever. So I have dual citizenship. So I thought I'd go to school out there.
It's amazing.
Nice.
Wow.
It's like
Well,
I'm doing school right now at like
Brianna wins.
I'm feeling less cool now.
I'm
That's
really
awesome.
broke after living in London, though. So don't worry.
travel be pricey sometimes, but I think it went down since the pandemic too, right?
It went down, and then after they rolled out a few vaccines, they're like, okay, let's just hike it up again because enough people have a vaccine for the summer. So like they're slowly increasing the airfares. I checked one day and it was like 300 pounds round trip. And then the next day when I went to go buy a ticket to come home, it was 600 pounds.
Oh my God.
Ooh,
Um,
absolutely
So
not.
I think they're banking on people wanting to travel after the vaccine.
For sure.
Yeah.
Oh, we're all about to get price gouged on airlines.
Yeah,
Oh.
seriously.
I'm really curious, like, what is everyone up to these days, and or what do you guys want to get into?
I'll go first. I'm a recent graduate of San Jose State University. I earned a bachelor's in creative arts, and my career path is in library science, and I hope to become a librarian and entry level work as a clerk. Um, my I've always been interested in education due to the support I had from my teachers, and I want to do the same thing in a library setting.
That's awesome.
And I love like the library's innovation for technology. They're always coming up with great tools for learning.
Love that.
Martin, I'm gonna do networking at its finest and message me later. And I have a person that's worth talking to who I think may have gotten her master's or is about to finish her master's at San Jose State in something around library science. And she
Mm.
wants to get into like UX and innovation, but something like right in that line. So I'll get you a network connection.
Okay, thank you so much, Laura.
Of course.
Does everybody have all of is there a place where we can actually get all of our LinkedIn contacts and stuff so we can connect afterwards? Because I was having trouble trying to read all of the or click onto people's profiles or look at people's profiles. So I would love to connect afterwards because I love to like find people connections. So that's why I'm here. But yeah, Martin, I think I know someone in library science too that you ought to meet.
Well, thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, Nancy put a link in and I'll put it in now. That's where we can all add our LinkedIn and like a little
Oh, you mean
more
that Google Doc?
Yeah, and then you could just add everyone from that link or that sheet.
Cool. Great.
But I'm definitely gonna add mine after this and connect with you guys. I guess I'll go. So I'm hopefully graduating this May. I'm a business management major. Always had a dream of starting my own business and want to do like a creative studio / venue / kind of like a hotel for creatives to just come together and collaborate with each other. That's what I've been dreaming up. And also something with sustainability. Those are my interests, creativity and sustainability. As I'm approaching my graduation, I'm honestly really stressed out because I'm figuring out next steps of what I'm really gonna get into. And I'm debating between a corporate job or shooting for my dreams, or maybe debating if it's good to get real world experience in actual like professional setting and then work on something that's in my mind. But that's where I'm at right now.
It's a great idea.
Thank you.
I full support. If you need help with that in any way, I want to help. I want to contribute.
That's awesome. I would love that because I'm also trying to find a team who would like to work on that. I did this innovation and entrepreneurship fellowship program at SF State last year. And that was like the highlight of my college experience because we actually got to pitch our ideas, form teams. So I joined this one idea from a good friend of mine now. And I learned a lot from it, from like ideating, like Laurel, you were talking about, which really kind of spoke to me, and design and UI, UX. I learned how to use Figma and designing it, which I feel like just like putting it on paper is what I need to do next and finding a team if that were to like keep rolling. But
Figma is everything. Every designer I know is all about Figma.
yeah, I didn't even know it existed until that program. So it's cool. There's so much tech out there now that I don't know like what exists and what not, but I feel like if you just think it up, something out there exists.
Totally.
Totally. Yeah.
But I want to hear from more of you guys and what you're up to and your dreams.
I'm happy to share. I about 3 years ago in May, I moved to the Bay Area after living in Columbus, Ohio. And I wanted to prioritize my family, so I decided to move here. I quit my job. I told my boss, I said, I'm going to leave. I'm going to move to California to be with my family. And basically gave myself 2 months to find a me. And I'm an instructional designer. I was an instructional designer at the College of Medicine at OSU, at Ohio State, and was helping revamp the curriculum for the medical school. So I got to the point where I did 3 iterations of the curriculum and then decided, okay, it's time for me to move. Like it's time, it can go automatic now. It can go, we can find someone else that can actually keep it in line. And then if we need to add anything else to it, then great. But it's time for me to give the torch to someone else. So I quit my job. My last day was in March, and my boss was like, why don't you have your last day be at March 30th, and then you can get your health care done, you can get all your teeth work done, get everything done, and then you move to California in April. So that's what I did. I landed in LA in April, and then I drove up to the Bay Area to surprise my family, saying, I'm here. So basically I got rid of everything except for like 3% of my stuff, and was like, I'm going to find a job, in like 3 months. But then when I started living here, I noticed like, oh my God, I have so many things I need to learn, because I felt disconnected from the Bay Area because I was living in Ohio for so long. So I needed to take time with my family, and I decided to just take a little personal sabbatical. But at the same time, I was still networking, meeting people. I'm in learning experience design. So, but I love UX. I get really like, my heart just leaps when I think about design and, figuring out how people learn and what makes learning for them the best way. So it's always about like the learner, and but it was like, this was the time for me to just have space and then absorb as much as I can, meet people, and explore any kind of tech spaces. And then the pandemic hit, and then I was just like, oh, it would be good to find a job, but I decided to just I took on a little role at Starbucks in my neighborhood to meet my community, to build a community. I'm gonna go back because this is a huge thing. I met some people at Headspace, and I told them about my story, that I was struggling. I moved here in the Bay Area, and then all of a sudden it hit me. I lost my network. I lost my network in Columbus. I lost my network here because I didn't know anybody. And, I went through a little bit of like kind of a light depression. I mean, I think I was pretty depressed because I was like, I lost everything and felt uprooted. I was in this elation, like this high for moving here. But then when things started settling down, I was like, where are all my friends? Where, I have no job. I didn't, I quit. I didn't have a job lined up. But I started using Headspace, and then I met some girls in the city who's in Headspace, and then they came to my store at Starbucks, and then I became a Headspace champion. So that's why I've been putting out a lot of content about Headspace and my journey, and trying to empower people to be curious about meditation, and then help people along the way, kind of if they're lost or if they're transitioning. I am like, I can offer a lot of support, and and any kind of help to be there, just to help that person or whoever needs some kind of mental health or befriending oneself, because it's really important to be your best advocate. Because I really wanted to get a job, but I felt like I needed time to be connected with my family. And there's some challenges because I moved here without any plans. So, and the expectation was to have a job before moving to San Francisco, but I didn't. And that caused a lot of disruption in my family. But, and that's something I had to work on. So, and I have a lot of pride too. I had a lot of pride in like, oh, I'm supposed to be working at this 9 to 5, like a design job or an instructional design role or an ed tech or some product management, or I mean, program management. But I didn't. I ended up working at Starbucks, and that to me was made a lot of I saw my ego, and I had to work. This was kind of an opportunity for me to like, why are you feeling so ashamed about becoming a barista? And why are you thinking that this is not, you're not good enough anymore because you decided to take on a role that's serving coffee and making coffee? And so it was kind of like this. And then I was trying to look for work, regular work, like like an actual professional role. But then my mind was telling me, well, you've been working as a barista for so long, who's going to hire you now? So that's been my mindset. And so Headspace has been kind of this like tool, or kind of this force of self-love and self-cultivation and friendship, and like an empowerment tool for me to like say it's okay, you're not your job, you know you're capable, you're a learner, you are, you love people, you love working with people, you're a problem solver, you're everything. You're not an imposter. Because I'm starting to feel like, oh God, I'm not good enough for this. And but I also want to just like meet people, and see who's out there, because I know I'm not alone, that there's a lot of self-doubt, and and it's okay to feel doubtful, and it's okay to feel like inadequate sometimes, because I noticed that in the tech world it's a very male dominated space, and women have to work extra hard. And women are amazing. I mean, women are, I am so blessed that I have so many people, like women in my life, that have brought me here. And, like, you can like do it. You're so courageous for quitting your job, selling everything, moving here, for your family. It's okay. You're going to go through so much stuff. And here I am, so I'm meeting you, Laurel, and Olivia, and learning, just kind of like learning from scratch, from starting from scratch. But I've never been happier. So, and Headspace has been a really supportive team for me, because they tried to hire me before and I was feeling like I'm not good enough. and I sabotaged that opportunity. But it's like, but I think sometimes when it doesn't work out, it's perfect, because if it you weren't, if things don't work out, it's not meant to be, so.
Yeah.
And it's such a perfect opportunity. It's like if I find like I'm trying too hard to please people, to like me, or to change, I notice that it doesn't work. Like, I want to be my weird self, my effusive, strange, like Zen kind of. I like this, I practice, meditation, and I do yoga. So it's kind of like that stereotypical kind of, you're in the la la land. But, this is what I am. So if I'd like to find my tribe or my sisterhood here, and just, and my brother, like, and it's not just, I want people to see me this way, instead of me trying to fit in a certain mold to kind of conform to a certain thing, knowing that, and then I realized that the whole time they were looking at someone else, not me, so anyway, so here I am. I just wanted to share that, because as a use human-centered design person that's passionate about human-centered design, I want to make sure that it's coming from a place of honesty, and like that this is how it is, and there's going to be frustrations, and you're going to work through those things, and to be kind along the way, because there's going to be lots of things where it's not going to work out, and just keep going. So anyway,
That was beautiful.
I'm done speaking. I'm like in Clubhouse, so I'm like, this is Aiko, I'm done speaking.
That was beautiful, and thank you for being vulnerable and sharing that with us. And I'm definitely going to check out Headspace. Anybody want to speak to that or also introduce themselves?
Yeah, a couple of things you said kind of spoke out to me. One of them being when you said you kind of are going through this process of realizing you are not your job. And I think that that is actually something beautiful that's coming out of this pandemic, is a lot of people are have the time to actually sit back and be like, whoa, like, what the hell am I doing? Or why do I place so much value on this? And I can't tell you how many, mostly women in my life, have had this realization in the last year or so, just like, I am not my job, and they're putting their efforts towards themselves, and figuring out who they are and what feeds their soul outside of work, which is so hard to do in the Bay Area, because it's just this toxic environment of hyper success and hyper focus all the time. So it takes a lot of strength and courage to actually say no to that and to feed your own soul. So I commend you for that. I think it's a great thing, and I hope that a lot of people come out of this pandemic with that same feeling. The other thing I wanted to say was, you were talking about feeling like an imposter. So imposter syndrome is like a whole other issue, right? But I'm a social media manager right now, and I posted a blog that our company wrote a couple months ago about imposter syndrome. And I will say that that post is like one of the all-time top performing posts that we have ever published since being a company. So that is just kind of saying, like, we all feel that. It is so normal, and we just shouldn't, because if we're all feeling like that, if we all feel like an imposter, none of us are really imposters. So anyway, thank you for sharing that.
Thank you. Yeah, that was awesome.
Thank you so much, Olivia.
Probably introduce myself too.
Well,
Selena, can I hear from you? I would love to know
Sure.
your story.
Yeah, totally. So hi, I'm Selena. I work at Adobe. It was my first job when I graduated from Cal Poly, and I started on the coast, fun times. But I graduated. Actually, Olivia and I went to the same college. We both worked in the same newsroom. We were both journalists.
Her little
Wow.
managing editor supporter.
Yeah, it was fun. I blacked out for most of it because news is not for the faint of heart. But anyways, I did that, graduated. Hello. We're just doing some introduction, so talking about myself. But I graduated from Cal Poly, got a job at Adobe, and I started out as a communication specialist because of my journalism background. And I'd always had a kind of slight for design, specifically graphic design and illustration, so like fun doodling times. And I was so wanting to get more of that in my professional world. And it took some time. Sometimes that happens when you work in a specific lane, and sometimes people expect you to stay in that. And if you want to jump out of it, sometimes it can be, you have to really vouch for yourself. Like I want to do this other work that I'm super passionate about, and sometimes it may not happen in the place that you're in. Luckily at Adobe, I kind of adopted the motto of the squeaky wheel gets the most attention. Sometimes you have to do that. And I was like, hey, I want to do more design work, and I know I'm capable, and I know this team needs it. So I kind of became a informal design in-house person for the team, for the communications team. And I just sort of kept going down that path, and I pushed more and more and more. And I told my manager, hey, I want to do design work. Like I want at least 75% of my job to be that. I know I can do communications. I know I'm good at it, but that's not where my heart is. I will do it for the sake of this team, but whenever I can, I want to do more design work. So I finally got a title change to creative and content strategist. So that's great. And I'm working on more stretch projects, and even continuing my networking outside of that, into more of the art world and getting more into that. But I'm definitely not a very traditional illustrator, designer sort of person. So that's kind of been my progression.
Nice. I have a question for like that initial move. Were you just like, hey, I could help out in this design part? And then so you did that, and that got noticed, and then it kind of just snowballed from there, and you took the leap to actually speak out. Is that how it happened? And did you have design under your belt already, or were you learning as you went?
Yeah. Well, the design side of it, it's funny because I think this happens to a lot of creatives. I grew up and I thought I kind of had that imposter syndrome. My brother was the one who was the most design bent person. He got awards, and like he was that guy. Like he was just really good at what he did. And I just thought, oh, there's only room for one of those in the sibling count. So I just didn't pursue that. And as I got older and I started at Cal Poly and was in journalism, we had a multimedia class where we learned how to do data visualizations and used Adobe Illustrator and InDesign, all that fun stuff. And I was like, I really like this. And it kind of scared me at first, because when you start out with one thing and then all of a sudden this other thing comes in, it's like, no, that's not how life works. And like, no, wait, Selena, that is how that works. Like life is evolving, like things happen, you're allowed to like change paths. So I learned more design through that. And I had some wonderful journalism professors who took their time to like show me some of the design skills I would need if I wanted to like pursue this. So I graduated, got this job, and yeah, that basically I came into the interview for this communications role with like, hey, I also have this. Like, I want to make it kind of obvious to them, like I can also do this stuff. So they knew I had that, so they kind of used me for that work, which I was fine with. I was like, I'm not gonna switch over to this design path like overnight. That's not what's gonna happen. I need to show them that I can do this. But there is that kind of runway, right? It's like, okay, when do I start to ask for this to be a thing, as opposed to just, oh yeah, I'll help, because like people will use you up for volunteering till you run dry. Like that's the world that we live in, unfortunately. So once I kind of hit that runway, I was like, okay, I've proved enough to you that I can do the design work. Can I do it officially, and can I do more projects and have a little bit more leeway, because I've proven to you that I can do this. And from there, it was a little bit of pushing, like, I know we don't have like headcount. I know we don't have things right now, but like, frankly, we live in a crazy world and nothing's going to come up anytime soon. So please have sympathy on me. Like, please think about me in this situation. Like, I want to do this. And I was kind about it, but there was that like kind of planting the seed every time I talk to my manager, like, hey, I want this change. Hey, I want this change. Like, I will do what I need to do for this team, but I also would love you as my manager to like have my back. Like I know you can do that for me. So being being gracious, but also like pushing in a kind way. So that's kind of how that all went down.
I want to add to that too. I had not a similar experience, but I moved from one role to the other, and I kind of had to push my way in. And I think what I learned from that too is like, you need to ask for it. You, just like Selena did, she fought for what she knew that she could do it. She fought for it and she got it. But you also need to let go of your ego at the same time. Like, you need to know that you can do it and also let go of your ego. Like I went from a PR role to a social media role, which I was at Google, and they were on two different teams. And so I just asked the social media person, can I help you out 20% of the time? And I did. But what that meant was I was like, I did all the brunt work. I was literally shipping products to influencers. That was my job. I was printing FedEx labels and shipping them to influencers, which is not luxurious whatsoever. And I had all these moments where I was like, I'm smarter than this. I graduated degree. I helped Selena manage a newspaper. Like, I can do this. But I had to let that go. And it paid off. It took a lot of adjustment, but nobody's too good for any job. Every job is important. Every job needs to be done. So it's sort of like, you need to be okay with that and know that it will pay off in the future.
Yeah. I have so many questions to ask all of our industry leaders, but I do want to give space to everybody else to share. Like, if you just came in or if you were here and didn't get a chance to talk yet, what are you up to? What are your goals or aspirations?
We're introducing ourselves, right?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, so I can go. So I'm a business major at SF State. This is my second year. I'm an international student, and I'm still exploring like in which direction I want to go and where like what I want to make out of my career. But till now, I mean, I supposedly I really wanted to be in like business and tech kind of because I definitely think they support each other a lot. But like, I don't know, I just sometimes feel like I need to maybe I really enjoy like talking to people. So instead of like concentrating on my degree, I should just be like in some communications role or something related to something more related to like customers or like on the front page. So, but yeah, I'm still exploring, and I till now I've really enjoyed doing like project management. So that's one area I'm interested in. But thank you. It's really nice meeting you all, and thank you, Selena, for your story. Really enjoyed listening it.
No problem. I want to call it Shelby because I have a bias for Shelby.
Well, for me right now, I'm a UCSB student. I just got in. I've been working, the main job I've been working for the past couple of years is as a tutor. I work for the JC in the area, so SBCC. And that's kind of where I started out. So I started out at the JC and transferred over. I kind of found my passion there because I took my first coursework. I was considering environmental engineering at first. And then I took my first geology class, and then it was like all out the door from there because that was my like favorite class during my first semester. And I knew that I loved it because I aced every single class after that. And like, I took all of the trips, which SPCC has so many geology field trips. It's like insane. We go all over Death Valley, the Sierra Nevadas. We do one that's all the way out to Colorado and back, the Colorado Plateau trip, which is like my favorite. But yeah, I love geology, and like what I'm trying to emphasize right now is GIS, Geographic Information Systems program. So mainly what you do is you like data into this like system, and you like, it's a way of like making things visually understandable on like a map basis. So I really love the program, and I really want to learn like more ways to work with it and more ways to like, I kind of took my first class at SBCC, and like it really hit hard that that's like kind of where I want to go. But like this semester also, I'm starting to learn with Adobe, and it's really hard as a geology major to like go, okay, I'm working physically with rocks, and then now I'm just drawing pictures of rocks on a screen. But yeah, so that's been my kind of path over the last year. Quarantine's definitely been a big hit on the major, but it's really interesting. And I don't know, I've done a lot of like different things, but yeah, I think there's probably a couple more people who need to share. So.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, Brianna or Ellie? Elise, would you like to share?
I can share. So sorry, those are my nieces and nephews in the background. But yeah, so my name is Brianna. I'm from the Bay Area. I went to Bishop O'Dowd High School, and then after high school, I did pretty well in high school, but not the best. After high school, I went to college in New York. I was accepted, but I knew that I wanted to be in the creative industry somehow. But because that wasn't introduced to me by my family, who's a very like, you get your money based on the hard work that you put in, and it's not necessarily something that you could have a lot of freedom or choices with. It had to be honest work, in their opinion. And then also coming from an immigrant family, like you need to be, if you're going to be something, you have to be a lawyer or a doctor. So I struggled my entire life knowing that that wasn't what I wanted, but also trying to please my family and not having an idea of how to make money being creative. So forcing myself into those positions where I feel that I'm actually behind, or everyone is just way better than me and I'm not good enough. So I spent many years like in and out of school. I actually just graduated from art school in the UK last year when I was 26 years old. And so, yeah, that just kind of, it took me a long time just to figure out what I wanted, lots of imposter syndrome. I knew that I was creative in my own way. I didn't know how to go about it. And so that's part of the reason why I moved to England, is because I wanted to break away from my family. And also just to find myself and build my reference, because I miss all of those years where my friends, all of my creative friends, they have been introduced to art from their parents from a very young age. They've been going to museums their entire lives, and that wasn't something that I experienced. So I literally took myself out of my family dynamic and tried to introduce myself to the world that I wanted to be in. And it's great. I work freelance as a creative producer, but it's not paying the best. It's not the money that I feel like I can survive on, which it's difficult, especially now because it's my passion, but I don't know how to live on it. Which is why I'm back in the US. And so, yeah, I'm just like slowly trying to figure it out still. And so that's why I'm coming, to this week, just to like, I guess, hear from other women who may have experienced the same, or maybe consider a different option as a career path. So, yeah.
Thanks for sharing. You should download the app called Creatively. They like post jobs specifically for creatives. I don't know if you'll find something on there that maybe would align with you and your work, but my friend sent it to me and I got really hyped because I was like, wait, this is kind of what I was thinking of doing, but not creatives to jobs, more creatives to creatives. But yeah, I could send you the link. I'll find your LinkedIn on the Google Sheet or something. But I want to stop talking and let you guys take what you got from the panel, and maybe you guys can initiate some networking tips that you got from the main chat.
I do want to mention one thing for the creatives in the room, because we're all creatives, I guess. my company is hiring. We're doing a huge hiring thing right now. We're trying to hire like hundreds of people this year. And one of the people that we're trying to hire is a brand producer that sits on our brand creative studio team. So they're the ones that create all of the visual assets for everything that we put out. And we are hiring a producer for that. So if you're interested, let me know.
Oh my God, that sounds amazing.
Yeah, I think from the panel in general, and like as it applies to us, I think the creative world is interesting because yeah, we have networking and like every other professional, but I think sometimes it's like how the way that I network with like other artists is very organic. Like it's very much like I follow you on Twitter and like I follow you on Instagram. Like it's very, I think we're all pretty receptive to like, you see my artwork in this place, so like connect with me on that platform. Like I think not that creatives are like, I think creatives are awesome people or like, but I think we definitely like, we're a little bit more visual and like outward with what we work on, as opposed to someone who's like in a comms role, like they're not going to put their latest press releases like here's my work on Twitter. Like that's not that's not, you know, visual. But I think don't be afraid to like, for example, on Twitter, I have so many mutuals or people that I don't even know in real life, but I see their artwork and I connect with them. And like sometimes they work on like freelance projects or they're working on a comic book and it's like, hey, do you need some help? It's like just making sure that you look for the artwork and the creative that you love, but you also connect with that creator and connect with that artist. Because most of the time people are so open to just like girl crushing or man crushing over each other's art like that. It's such a genuine connection. So don't be afraid to do that for sure.
I also feel like I do some like mentoring of students quite often. And I think students are often trained to like follow this specific cut and dry copy paste resume format and don't put color in your resume. Don't use anything other than Times New Roman. Format it this way. In an interview, talk like this, wear this, do this. And those rules don't really apply in the same way for us as creatives. I think that's what is really challenging. And I just want to sit with that for all of you that are either in school or in systems that kind of have trained you to be a certain way. You don't have to be. The coolest part of what we do is you can be so free with your expression, and that's actually celebrated. So really lean into that. What is your personal brand all about? Like have some fun using yourself as a creative project. Like who am I? What do I represent? How do I make that come to life using whatever creative medium I really follow? You know, if you're more musical, if you're more visual arts, if you're great at video, like whatever that is, like figure out how to tell that story in a way that lets your skills shine. And I know it can be a challenge. And I know if you need a portfolio for your role, it is probably something that's just crushing you a little bit right now. That was me. But just remember that that's actually a beautiful gift that you have. Like a portfolio, kind of reframe it. It's not a pain in the butt. It's actually a beautiful gift. You get a chance to showcase yourself. And if you want to have tattoos in the workplace, break the rules. We're like, you know, the old fashioned, like don't have tattoos and piercing. Heck yeah. In creative world, of course, be yourself, freedom of expression. Dye your hair the colors you want. Wear the clothes that make you feel most creative. I think that's what's cool. So celebrate it. I would not give this advice in another chat room, but I would definitely give it here.
My mirror almost fell on me.
Oh no.
I really like that advice, and I'm wondering how much does it apply to like when you guys applied to Intercom or Salesforce or Adobe? Did you feel like you had to stick to those lines or like kind of bend the rules for yourself?
I think I bent the rules. I went a little bit more creative with the resume, but I was also kind of reading the room in the sense that I applied to a company that I knew allowed that sort of freedom. It's a very creative company. Their branding uses a lot of emojis. It's very, very friendly. And I went into that interview and I met the people and I met the creative people. I met my boss and I decided like, I can be myself here. And these are the types of people that I want to work for. And I think that that is so valuable. We have only a few minutes. I'll shut up now.
Very good. Yeah, I'll make it quick too. It was very, you basically read the room. Like, I think there are these preconceived notions of like creatives are like super wild and crazy, but like sometimes if you're in a corporate world, you not have to act a certain way, but you have to feel the room of like, okay, I can be myself in terms of I'm genuine and I'm kind, but also being like, okay, who am I talking to? Is this a VP? Is this a director? So like not filtering yourself per se, but like just being conscious of how you're portraying yourself and like the level of formality that you have. It's just about reading the room, especially in corporate. Like it can be a different world.
I think also your work will speak for itself. And so as you're starting to meet people, like of course have a level of polish, but don't hide it. Like I'm very bubbly. I don't really hide that when I'm in meetings, and I've like learned that actually that's a better asset than the meetings that I've gone into where I'm like, must be polished and can't giggle. Then I always feel robotic, and that's never good. So feel free to be yourself, but also like, yes, to what both gals said, like read the room. You'll know if someone is disinterested or is like rolling their eyes at you because you're giggling. Like I've seen it happen to me before, and then I know like dial it down a little bit. But typically people will really feed off your energy when you're you. I feel like Jack said that a lot in the main chat too. Like, be you. And it works. I think if I could read her, I bet it has worked for her very much so. It would work for all of you too. You guys are all lovely, lovely human beings.
Right back at you. I enjoyed this conversation so much. I'm sad we only have 2 more minutes or 1. Do you guys have any last tips or things to say before we head back in?
I just want to say thank you for the space, for creating the space for us. And, you know, just from hearing you guys speak, I've learned a lot. And in celebration of Women's Day, you know, thank you so much for all, you know, all the wisdom you guys shared today. It truly is a testament how wonderful women are, you know. So yeah, and I'm here to help too. And if there's any kind of need you guys have, we have a clubhouse meeting on Wednesday, and it's on my LinkedIn about being centered during the pandemic. And, you know, we're just gonna like vent if you guys want to do that. So join us, feel free. It's a like basically a support system that we're creating. I don't know. And if anybody wants to get into Clubhouse too, I can get you in. So let me know. Okay.
Awesome. Thanks.
All
Thank you
right.
so
See you
much.
guys in the main room, I guess.
See you guys. I hope to talk
Thank
to you
you.
more soon after this. Bye.
You all.
Yeah. Welcome back, everyone. We can't wait to hear about what you all talked about.